Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
All right, let's kick off a Hump Day edition, Wednesday. The Young and Norvelle Show right here on Action Sports Jax. A lot to cover today. We've got a couple guests we'll ring up here. 4:30, Brent Beaird talking college football and basketball. You know Brent, one of our buddies here on the program. He is really dialed in. Big meetings today in and around college football. The SEC and the Big Ten kind of leading those meetings. And we'll talk about that with Brent Beaird, including basketball talk as well. 5 o'clock, we'll do our sports medicine segment, which we do with Dr. Aaron Bates every Wednesday about 5 o'clock from the Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. We've got a lot of stuff to discuss, including Joel Embiid. Man, I think he was a bad patient. We'll talk about what he did, what he didn't do, and now it looks like he's going to miss a lot of time. You got to believe the 76ers aren't real happy with him. We welcome Mr. Zach Rothrock. Mr. Rothrock, how the heck are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
You are wearing your South Carolina Gamecock shirt very proudly. You know, you got that first win earlier. Gamecocks,
Can't hold us down forever.
1-13, and he's showing off. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, you can't hold us down forever. We're bound to prevail eventually, and we're going to take our rightful spot at the top.
There you go. Hey, all you got to do is win 5 in a row in Nashville. What the hell?
You just got to get hot at the right time.
And that's what it's about. Life is about getting hot at the right time.
Yeah.
Well said. Getting cold at the wrong time. Florida last night in Athens, just an absolute miserable performance by the Gators. And I know, Zach, I don't think you saw much of the game. Obviously, I watched the entire game. Florida drops the game in Athens to Georgia. They're 24-4 now, the Gators. Probably closed the door on Florida winning the SEC regular season unless Auburn drops a couple quickly. Georgia needed the win. Georgia played like a desperate team. Ugly performance by the Gators last night. I know at one point inside 2 minutes, Florida actually took the lead. Zach, they were down 26 were the Gators in the first half. 26. They come back like they've done. Florida's a really good team. They had one of those sleepwalk, nothing went in, everything Georgia threw up went in, but Florida chipped away. Zach, they took the lead with 90 seconds left.
Yeah,
and then couldn't score again. Georgia hit free throws. They hit a big three-point shot, and they hit free throws, and the Dogs got a huge win in Athens over Florida.
Yeah, and it's probably one of those games, obviously Coach White would want to play his best against the Gators. He's probably one of the games that he's had the game circled.
Sure.
I know that the Bulldog student section was chanting some choice words at Coach Golden during the game, and that could potentially also play a factor in how things played out. But I mean, that's it's one of those where it's going to be tough anytime that you play in Georgia, as long as Coach White is coaching that Bulldogs team, regardless of how
Mike White,
good they are.
former Gator coach,
right?
Current Bulldog basketball coach. Florida, by the way, had won 12 in a row over Georgia over the last 4 or 5 years. Mike White, his time in Gainesville and his time at Georgia, he's been at Georgia now 2 or 3 years. Mike White is not a very good head coach. Mike White is probably a guy that should be your number 2 guy, your lieutenant on your bench. But even in his years in Gainesville and currently at Georgia, Mike White is good for one game a year. He will go out and he will somehow, some way, it was last night, he beat a team he has no business. Mike White's not a great game coach. And you didn't watch the game. The people that did watch the game, they know what I'm talking about. Florida chipped away and chipped away and chipped. They were down 26, I might add, in the first half. They were down 16 at the half. It stayed about 16 or 15 most of the second half, and Florida made a run. Gators make a run, and they make a run, and they make a run. They make a run. And Florida took the lead by, I think the Gators actually had a 2-point lead late in the game, about 90 seconds left.
Yeah, I think that's right.
When they showed Mike White, the Georgia coach, on the sideline during timeouts when Florida had come back, you've heard this the saying, deer in headlights? Mike White looked scareder than scared.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's one of those where when you come back, you start to pucker up a little bit. You start to
He
get
did.
you start to get your tail between your legs, and you don't want to blow it, especially in that type of scenario.
He did. Not a season-ending loss for Florida. They're probably still going to hold on to a 2 seed. Florida would have to win out and get a little help now. They still do play at Alabama. And with the final 5 games about a week ago, I said Florida needs to go 4-1, and they'll get a 1 seed. Now, I assumed the 4-1 would be beat 4 teams not named Alabama and lose to Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Well, they lost their team called Georgia. So they can still go 4-1, but they got to go get a win in Tuscaloosa, which won't be easy. I think the Gators are pretty much set, though. They'll get a 2 seed. Barring them losing out, they'll get a 2 seed. But yeah, that was a desperate team last night. And Zach, I guess you haven't been here this week to hear us talk, but we've talked with Brent Beaird and other people on the show Monday and Tuesday. Last night was Georgia's season. I mean, if they lose, they don't have anybody. Georgia's last 3 SEC teams that they play in the regular season are all unranked. So they don't have a big pelt out there. Florida was the last chance outside of Nashville when they go to the conference championship game. Florida was the last chance, and you could tell last night, and you kind of knew it going in, Mike White, the Georgia program, Athens, the whole Georgia Bulldog basketball thing was stirred up last night. They knew that was a desperate team, a desperate game, I should say, and good for Georgia. Good for Georgia. Boy, they nearly blew it, though. It would have been a hell of a day for Mike White if they had blown that 26-point lead. We'll talk about that. Florida, where do the Gators go from here? They're 24-4, for God's sakes. In a tough SEC. Florida has the big national game coming up Saturday night. The Gators host Texas A&M. That'll be a highly ranked team that Florida brings into Gainesville Saturday. ESPN Game Day will be there this Saturday. Even though Florida lost, they'll still be there. A lot to play for the Gators, but that was ugly. Florida, they and Zach, I'll let you jump in here real quick.
Yeah.
The Gators, why did they lose the game last night? And you see social media and people that obviously like me watched every dribble. Most people point to free throw shooting. The Gators were like 18 of 29. They missed 11 free throws in a game that was really a 2-point game. It ended up being a 5-point game. I'm going to back people off. If you watched that game last night, free throw shooting was one of the reasons Florida lost. They had several reasons. Florida was slow-footed. Georgia was much quicker it was just one of those nights. Georgia was, and you've seen those games, Zach.
Yeah.
Georgia was quicker to the ball. Georgia looked hungrier. Georgia played more desperate. Georgia got after the rebounds. They got after it. Was free throws hurt Florida, but that wasn't the only thing that lost the game for Florida.
Yeah, at the end of it all, Florida actually did end up out-rebounding them 34-32. But Georgia shot the ball out the gym. Georgia shot 55% from the three-point line. And talking about how Florida almost came back to win, I actually looked at the how ESPN does the win probabilities throughout the game. So Florida had a 71% chance to win with just a minute left. Yeah. Despite, Georgia had up to a 94% chance at one point throughout the game. So, yeah, they really did almost come out and win despite of that. So, I mean, that's what good teams do. Yeah. They win games despite playing on the road against a team that's shooting 55%. And Florida had a chance to almost pull that out at the end anyway. So, yeah, I mean, they're a team that is – I mean, if you run into a team that shoots 56% from the three-point line in March in the tournament, you're going to lose. Yeah. But, I mean, outside of that, I mean, they proved that even in this game, in the loss, they proved they actually can overcome a lot of things.
First half, at one point, it was 39-13. Is that 26 points, I think, between, if you do the math?
Yeah.
39-13. Florida couldn't drop it in the ocean from a 9-foot ladder, and you kind of knew.
Mm-hmm.
I love this Florida basketball team. I've seen them play all year, like most people. You knew they were going to come back. And they not only did 90 seconds left, they had a 2-point lead. They didn't. Yeah. I don't think they scored again. Georgia hit a big 3-point shot.
Yeah, about 40 seconds left.
And then they made their free throws. Florida didn't make their free throws, which was one of the factors. But no, it was one of those games, Zach, as I'm watching the game last night, and in particular the last 5 minutes of the basketball game in Athens last night, Florida, Georgia, it looked like, particularly with 3 minutes and less, it looked like Florida was going to steal the game. And I'm watching the game, and you've been there, I've been there. I'm like, the Gators don't deserve this win. They're about to steal one out of Athens.
Yeah, and I mean that's what elite teams do, is they win
really
the games
do.
They're not supposed to.
They really do. Big basketball tonight. Ole Miss at Auburn, Vanderbilt at A&M, Kentucky at Oklahoma. This could be a game where Oklahoma's at home. This could be a little bit like that Georgia game last night. Oklahoma really needs another big win. Kentucky, 17th, 18th in the country. Oklahoma hosts Kentucky. And then Texas will host Arkansas. Arkansas, big win over the weekend. Arkansas, if they go hold serve, that would be another big step for the Razorbacks making the March Madness tournament. So we've got, what do we got? 4 games left. Everybody's got 4 games left going into tonight's games in college basketball. A lot to get to today. Brent Beaird about 4:30 now. We'll change and get Brent on a little bit earlier, get his perspective. I'm not sure if a lot of stuff really happened earlier today. The college football, the college football committee, Zach, as you're probably aware, and Brent and I make a lot of fun about this over the years. We've been following college football for so long. The college football committee, they meet, I think, every other Tuesday the entire year. I mean, they
feels like it.
They love to meet. Well, they met supposedly today, or they may be meeting right now. But the word is these could be big meetings, because the word is now that cumulatively combined, the SEC and the Big Ten have pretty much gotten solidarity, right? And they've pretty much said, we're going to lead this charge. We have gotten college football where it's at over the years. We are the big boys. We deserve the majority cut of the money. And, Zach, I hate to say it, but again, we're the SEC, we're the Big Ten, and you're not. Right? So that's where everything is going. How quickly can it get there? And I love it. And I love it. The I kid around, but I mean this, down a little bit. Wouldn't college football be so much better if we could quickly get to where we're going? And you know where we're going. We are going where the Big Ten, let's just call that the AFC, right?
I mean, pretty much,
and and the SEC, let's call that the NFC. And let's expand. Let's get it maybe 24 in each side. The Big 40, and go play. Hey, no disrespect to Southern Miss and East Carolina and whoever and who, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, we'll talk with Brent Beaird about that a little bit later. We've got our buddy Patrick Young wearing his Georgia red. He is flipped, it looks like. He's turned into a Bulldog now after that game last night. Patrick Young, how the hell are you?
I'm exhausted.
What, are you just getting back home? You in JIA? Where you at?
That yesterday was this was my first one-day trip in Charlotte, so having to get on a flight back-to-back days, and then doctor appointments and stuff I gotta do back here. I slept 0 last night.
Not good.
Yeah, you gotta get sleep. You got to.
The old 0 sleep. I don't think many doctors say, "Hey, here's what you need: no sleep." Hey, I went to the doctor.
How about those the idiot people like celebrities? If you're sleeping, you ain't making money, or You sleep when you're dead. No, if you don't sleep, you're gonna die.
Yeah. Where are you at right now?
Outside of Chipotle.
Okay, you're in Jack's Vegas though, right?
Yeah, I had to grab some food, man. I had to.
So your thoughts? Obviously, you were in the studio last night. Your thoughts? Florida really, the Gators came back in the game. The Gators had a chance to win. They didn't deserve to win that game at all. I thought, they made a great run. They're better. Florida is better than Georgia in basketball, but had the Gators stolen that game, it would have been just that, a steal. Florida wasn't ready to play last night. Would you agree?
Talk about steal, Zach knows about the steal.
Yeah.
When the Gators beat South Carolina, taking the lead for the first time in the game with 4 seconds left. That was a steal. That right? Yeah, that first 10 minutes, that was really impressive that they came back and took the lead, though.
It really was.
Really. But the free throws weren't great. I think 15 to 26.
Yeah.
Condon and Houck, neither one of them played great.
No. Condon looked rusty. Condon really looked rusty.
That first 10 minutes, they were shooting 70% from the field. Like 7 of 9 from 3-point line. They were getting the mid-range jump shot. And Florida, at first 10 minutes, we know they're a top offensive rebounding team in the country. They had like 2. They had like 2 offensive rebounds in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah, got hammered.
And I was just like, man, if it wasn't for Will Richard playing like and this is the part that you can look at the officiating, but I think you look at, hey, if you're not, this situation doesn't happen if you come ready to play from the jump.
I agree.
The shot that Blue Cane hit on the wing to take the lead, Will Richard got screened so illegally.
Yeah.
The guy was moving his feet, moving his arms to but again, so you're not in that situation. You guys come ready to play from the jump.
Yeah. I hear you about the play. And that was the shot of the record of the game, basically. That won the game for Georgia. And was it a illegal screen? Was it not? Probably was. But Blue Cane still had to draw up from 22 and drill a shot, and he did. He drilled the shot. Yeah. And
because I was just like, how did he get so wide open? I'm like, oh well, that's why.
Yeah. And good for Mike. Why not draw it up? Why not have a moving screen if they don't call it? I mean, you're Georgia. You're trying to sneak in the tournament. But no, as the game played out last night, Patrick, particularly in the last 3 minutes, Florida takes the lead, and they get up by 2, I think it was. And I'm a Gator fan, man. I wanted them to finish that game and steal it in Athens. But as I'm watching that game last night, I'm going, Florida doesn't deserve to win this game. They do not deserve to win this game.
It's fair. It's fair to say that. That's the truth. They didn't deserve to win that game. Like the missed backcourt call by Pat Adams. I don't get it.
He's
like that shouldn't. He's a mess, man.
He is a mess.
But I don't know what the heck was Elijah Martin doing. Han Logden was right in front of him.
Yes.
Like he could touch Han Logden, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna throw the ball behind me. That's better."
Yeah, just not a good night. And Pat, you and I talked a couple of days going into the game last night with Florida and Georgia. You kind of knew that was Georgia's season last night. I mean, you could tell they probably spent all weekend, even though they had a weekend game, after their Saturday game was over, you could tell Sunday, Monday, that Athens, everything was geared toward the Georgia game against Florida. That was their season. They had to win that game. Are they in for sure? No. I don't think Georgia's definitely in the tournament. But had they lost, I think that would have ended their season. That was all or nothing for Georgia, and good for them. Good for them.
No, I think it was multiple factors for them in being motivated for that game. Obviously, short term, this is their season. They really spiraled out of control after a great start.
Yeah.
And needed. I think for Coach White, I think the players really wanted to get that win for him. Get that.
It seemed like it, didn't it?
Get that donkey off his back there. And then you get when you are a top team, top 5 team in the country, you're getting the best shot from everybody.
Everybody wants to.
Everybody, you are their season saver.
Yeah, and that was key last night. All right, Pat, we'll keep you a few more minutes. We'll let you go. Brent Beaird's going to jump on, and then Dr. Bates, so we can let you get. I know you're tired from traveling.
I want to hear about with Dr. Bates and this blood clot in his shoulder. Like, what in the world?
Yeah, with Wemby and all that. Where do the Gators go? Right now, unless Auburn really goes on a tailspin, last night's Gator loss probably takes Florida out of winning the conference championship, the regular season. Where do the Gators go? I guess is goal number 1, make sure at least they get a number 2 seed. Is that goal number 1 right now?
I think goal number 1 for them is going to be to get your double bye for the SEC tournament.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know it's Auburn, Bama, Florida. Can't remember who's 4th.
And Tennessee beat A&M, so Tennessee's hovering in there now.
Tennessee, I can't wait for that game. Tennessee hosts Alabama. I don't think that's this weekend. Oh, it is this weekend.
Yeah.
And Kentucky hosts Auburn. So those are going to be 2 good ones to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
But what did you say before that? Apologize.
Is Florida's big
Where do they go from here?
Are they a number 2? Is that their big goal? Nothing less than a 2 now?
I think but look, they can be a 2. They got A&M, which that's going to be a quad 1.
Big win
if it's going to come down to them having to if they can beat Bama.
Yeah.
I don't think they can on the road.
It'll be tough, but I'll say this, man. Bama doesn't play any defense. Now, when they get it going, they scored 111 last night, by the way. When they get it going, they can score on the damn Lakers. But damn, Patrick, Alabama, they don't play any defense, man.
That's why 2 things are crucial to their success, vital for their style of play. You got to make shots.
Yeah.
Duh. And you can't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Because by making shots, knocking down these shots, these threes, you're covering sins. You're covering mistakes. By not turning it over, you're allowing yourself more opportunities to keep covering for those things you're not doing defensively.
Yeah. So
they get in a lot of trouble, as every team does. If they ever have a night where they have a lot of turnovers and they're not making shots, that's when Alabama is out of there.
Pat, 2 things for you before I let you go. Finish your meal, and we've got Brent Beaird and then Dr. Bates. Tonight we've got 4 games, just like we had last night. Ole Miss at Auburn. Any chance Ole Miss could do something stupid? No.
I don't think so.
No. Okay. Ole Miss.
I don't think so.
Vanderbilt at A&M. Boy, one more good Vanderbilt win would help. Kentucky at Oklahoma. Boy, you wonder if Oklahoma at home could pull a win over Kentucky. Could they
suck.
Sneak in? I know they are bad. Ooh.
They suck.
And then Texas, Arkansas. Arkansas coming off a big weekend win.
And I stand on it. I remember, this is a funny story, Terry.
Okay.
My senior year, before we got the 1 seed, the 1 overall ranking, it was belonged to Syracuse. And Syracuse, they lost to Boston College, which was like god awful. Like we watched the only reason I knew that we were watching film of some other team we were playing, and Boston College had some clips in there defensively, and you're like, dang man, they just look so bad. So well, after the game's over, doing our post-game interviews, and they're like, oh, what do you think? You're probably close to becoming the new number 1 here soon. Syracuse lost to Boston College. I was like, what? They lost to Boston College? They suck. It became a whole thing. Coach Donovan had to call the guy and apologize. And I'm like, Man, y'all sucked. I should have stood on it.
Patrick,
I should have stood on it and be like, guys, come on.
All right, Pat, your last
Y'all
thought
aren't good.
Before we let you go, I know you've been traveling all week. We'll let you go, and we'll catch up with you as the rest of the week plays on. Last night, I do not subscribe to the theory that one thing lost Florida the game. A lot of people are pointing to their free throw shooting, and they missed 11 free throws. I get that. I think Florida lost the game in a lot of ways. But I'm going to ask you this, Pat. You have walked up to the free throw line. You've towed the line in big time, Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four games. Florida really reverted back to, they really hurt themselves missing free throws. If you were the head coach and your team is back, you probably are working out right now, probably in Gainesville. Pat, how do you handle that? Do you, if you're the head basketball coach, do you talk about missed free throws with your team? Do you make him shoot extra free throws? Do you?
Yeah, you tell them to stay. You have all your guys stay. Everyone has to hit 100. Has to shoot 100.
Okay, is that how you?
And then if you need more, get. But I mean, I don't think I think Thomas Houck and Condon, they could not.
Yeah.
Those two guys, and they've been our bread and butter.
Really?
They those two, like, and what Georgia was doing, they were like, all right, we dare you guys to shoot from the 3-point line,
and they missed.
And they missed all their threes, and every one of those shots turned into those possessions turned into one shot.
Yeah.
One shot possessions.
And Pat, we'll let you go on this, I promise. Not to put the whole game on one player, because Florida lost across the board last night. Georgia took it to them. A lot of guys struggled for Florida. I thought last night, watching Alex Condon play after missing 3 games, okay, I thought that spoke to the fact that, you know what, even during a season, I don't care if it's baseball, basketball, football, there's a reason you practice during the season, right? If I miss 3 baseball games in a row and I've taken no batting practice and limited ground balls, I'm not going to be as good. I thought Condon.
There's no way.
That was obvious.
And your confidence there's no way you'd have any level of confidence.
Condon, I think he'll be great Saturday. He needed the reps last night. He needed those reps last night, but he was not in game shape, ready to play. He had missed 3 games. I think that's a big factor, don't you?
Yeah, some chemistry's off there, some timing, some rhythm.
His timing looked way
I
off.
thought he played. Yeah, I thought he played too many minutes. Micah was playing solid.
I agree with that.
The dynamic is just that Micah. They just every big brings something different. Yeah. Micah's not shooting threes. He's a really good rebounder and passer.
Yeah.
And Kondo, Kondo's out there at the 3-point line all the time, and he can get done in the paint. He really can. I don't know if getting, obviously playing 5s in practice is important, but maybe 1-on-1s and 2-on-2s and 3-on-3s where you can really build your confidence. And I like to believe that UF is doing a great job in how they're getting guys back, but I think it's just something you accept. How many guys come back from injury, being out, and Janai Broom did it, which is amazing, but that's why he's in contention for Player of the Year.
Good point. All right, PY, we'll let you go. I know you're tired from traveling. Get back home, get unpacked,
I'm going to sleep.
and then do you take back off on Friday? Is that right? Friday?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry about that. Yeah, but you got a hell of a Saturday to talk about, though. A lot of good games.
Yeah, I will be drinking at Celsius.
Good for
that is for sure.
To stay away. All right, buddy, get home, unpack, do some laundry, and then repack and hit the road. And make sure you don't forget about us. We want to talk to you as the rest of the week unfolds. Okay, buddy?
Sounds like a plan.
That's our buddy Patrick Young.
See you guys later.
Just back from Charlotte, SEC media duties. And then he's going back up Friday for a busy Next to final Saturday regular season SEC basketball. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Brent Beaird should be hooked up. We got a lot of football and basketball to talk with Mr. Beaird on the other side. It's a Wednesday, hump day edition of the Young and Norvelle Show right here on Action Sports Chat.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
All right, we welcome you back. Wednesday edition. I want to thank Patrick Young for jumping on here on his show, the Young and Norvelle Show, right here on Action Sports Jax. Patrick traveling back from Charlotte. Boy, this time of year, he's on a plane a lot, a couple times a week, heading back up to Charlotte on Friday for all of the SEC basketball this Saturday. Thank you to Patrick Young. We'll continue on a Hump Day edition. Brent Beaird joins us right now. Dr. Aaron Bates at about 12:05 or so. Mr. Beaird, you and I texted a little bit last night, and I had said all week that the big three, there's really a big three in the SEC basketball.
Sure.
season this year. Auburn, Alabama, and Florida. And I said, we're at the point late in the season where the regular season championship is up for grabs. Who's going to blink first? And last night, Florida blinked. Florida blinked first. You and I kind of intimated that might be a trap game in Athens. That was Georgia's season. And I know Florida made a 26-point comeback. They took the lead with, under 2 minutes to go. Florida didn't deserve to win that game last night.
Yeah. Look, I agree with that. And I really thought, though, Terry, I'm curious if you did too. When they took the lead, I thought they'd win.
Same here. I really thought they were going to steal one.
Yes. Now, the problem is, and I give them credit, Georgia actually made plays in the last minute and Florida didn't.
And Georgia normally under Mike White doesn't do that.
Yes.
And you know what? There's the controversy. Was it a moving screen that freed up Blue Kane to make the big 3-point? If it was a moving screen or not, okay, take that out of it. He still stepped back and hit about a 23-footer.
He did.
He hit all net in a 23-footer.
Yeah, give him credit for that in the way they were able to play. But I mean, 20 ahead by 26. Look, I almost hesitate to say this, but I'm not going to hesitate to say it.
I know where you're going,
Terry. It's like I texted you last night.
Absolutely.
That was the Mike White blind squirrel finds an acorn.
It really was.
Game.
And he does it every year. One game.
He did. Listen, the scenario was perfect. If you saw the record, that they were 4-10, 5-10 in the league, going absolutely nowhere. Although it looks like they somehow still may get in.
They might
on the strength of the conference. But we knew, didn't we, Terry? We knew Mike White was going to have one more game where they would put it all together and they would be able to win. Now, here's my question to you. Would it shock you at all with the games Georgia has remaining? I think they lose every one of them.
Georgia's got 3 games left.
Yes.
Nobody on their SEC schedule is ranked. And it wouldn't surprise me if they lose 2 or 3 in a heartbeat.
Absolutely not.
I want to take it back because Mike White, we're not picking at him, but his history is at Florida and at Georgia. He undercoaches. He's not a great coach. He's probably an assistant coach that is masquerading as a head coach. Yep. And he has been known, with 5 minutes to go in a basketball game, he's been known to grab victory.
Yes.
Or whatever it is, victory, defeat, out of the jaw. And Brent, I'll never forget, last night, Florida is making this 26-point comeback.
Yes.
And they either have, I can't remember, the clock was down around 90 seconds, and I think Florida was up by 2.
Yeah.
And they showed a shot of Mike White, and you talk about the definition of a deer in headlights. He was scared to death.
Yeah, he knew it was coming, didn't he, Terry? He knew it was coming.
He really did. Brent, we want to talk some football meetings, but before we do that, Ole Miss at Auburn.
Yeah.
Any reason to watch? I mean, Ole Miss got anything to give Florida a mulligan back? Could Ole Miss do something on the road?
Well, they might. Look, here's the thing with Ole Miss. If anybody can defend Auburn, it would be Ole Miss because Chris Beaird is that good defensively.
Yeah.
Now the question is going to be: does Ole Miss have enough ammunition to be able to win the game?
Yeah.
I'm not sure they do, but would it shock you at all if Ole Miss pushes them to the limit for a while?
Yeah, and that's really the only chance that Florida has to get back in the regular season race. Is Auburn's got to be asleep at the wheel. They need another. Yeah. Auburn's got to get upset by somebody, and then Auburn needs to lose to Alabama, and then Florida. Then Florida would have to win out. So it's Auburn's regular season to take. Yeah, and they've probably been the best, most consistent team to this point, right?
I would agree with that. Now, people may have missed this. But Lenardi said if you're on the one line, and Florida is basically on the one line,
right,
that you would have at least a 1-game mulligan, if not 2.
Interesting.
So people need to pay attention to that, because Florida last night did not end their chances to to miss the one line. Look, Florida goes to Tuscaloosa a week from tonight.
Yeah.
And I tell you right now, I think Florida wins that game.
They could. They could. Boy, Alabama, my God. I love to watch them on one end of the court. They're so much fun.
Yeah.
They scored 111 points, but my God, they give up a lot of points, Brent
They do.
Beaird.
They do. And believe it or not, last night was one of their better defensive efforts in a month.
How about that?
What does that tell you?
How about that? So anyway, tonight, we had 4 last night. We got 4 tonight.
Right.
Ole Miss at Auburn. Vandy at A&M. Vandy's
That's
one
big.
more win. Vandy goes and gets that win, they're guaranteed in.
Yeah.
If I'm Kentucky, if I'm Mark Pope, I'm talking to his team right now on the bus heading over to the arena, and I'm saying Oklahoma could be tonight's Georgia from last night. Oklahoma at home. This could be a big win for Oklahoma. And Texas is at Arkansas. Boy, Arkansas needs to add to that big win over the weekend. So 4 games coming up, and then a busy, busy Saturday. Brent, we'll get to that Saturday as we move along, maybe on Friday here on the show. The college football guys, they meet again today. They may be meeting right now. Brent, I am so wore out over the last probably 20 years. College football. And I get it. We're trying to reset college football. But, Brent, at some point, my God, college football's got to get a plan in place, stick to it, and go play, don't they? Yeah. What's going on? What's going on with the meeting today? Do you know anything?
Yeah. Here's what's happened. They met. They're basically going to meet again.
Yeah, they are.
In a few weeks, there will be a lot of virtual meetings between now and then. But again, here's the issue for this coming year. You've got to be unanimous.
Yeah.
In any decision making. Starting next year, it's just majority or consensus. Now, what they're trying to do for this year is this, and it makes sense, is they're trying to change the seating, because the seating was terrible last year.
Yeah.
And what they're trying to do is, okay, we come out every Tuesday, we make a big to-do about these rankings. Well, why don't you use the rankings and see the teams the way they're ranked? So that's what they're looking at trying to do in 2025. Now, what is, you've still got, do we go to 14? Do we go to 16? And I think a lot of that's going to be, I think Tony Petitti from the Big Ten wants to go to 16.
Right.
So we'll see about that. You still got the SEC 9-game situation, but here's what's captivating everybody. And we got on this early last week, is they want to do something with championship weekend.
Yes.
They want, the thing we're looking at right now would be probably the top 2 teams playing for the conference championship. Now, what intrigues people is what's going on next. And I don't quite know what this is going to be. You've got 1 and 2 playing, and then you've got probably it depends on how many teams. I've heard 4 games. That would mean 8 teams.
Let me cut you off. When you say 1 and 2 playing, you mean the top 2 teams in a particular conference?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, pick it up there. Go ahead.
Yeah. The top 2, like this year, Georgia and Texas will play again.
Yes. Go ahead. Pick it up there. I'm sorry.
But what's intriguing people is you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you would have, and I may be off on this a little bit, but I'm going to throw it out and people will understand this. Like 3 would play 8, 4 would play 7, and 5 would play 6. Now, the question is, where are they going to play? It may be the home games for the higher seed.
And these games are conference championship Saturday?
Yes.
Brent, I don't understand what the theory is here. I'm not real smart. I don't get it. You're adding a lot more games, aren't you?
You are. Well, look, Terry, here.
They don't want to give away the money, though. I know that.
Here's what's going on here is they want to do something different on championship weekend.
Yeah.
And you just hit it. Part of it is they want to make a lot more money.
Yeah.
Which by doing that they would, and they could go to their TV partner and say, well, now we've got a championship game, and then we've got these 3 or 4 other games we're going to have. So can you sweeten the pot for us by doing that? So and look, they may not agree to this, but because it's new and shiny, people have latched onto this, thinking that this would be, and look, this is not just the SEC, Terry. This would be ACC, Big 12, and so forth. So, and what you would get from this basically would be the SEC and the Big 10 are going to have 4. They're going to have every year. They're going to have at least 4.
They're going to vote that in. Yes.
Yeah, at least 4. Okay. Here's my question to you, young man: is that stadium's built here, and let's just say they pretend they're going to do this. I mean, Terry, wouldn't you, if you're Jacksonville, wouldn't you want to throw in a lot of money and get one of these play-in games?
Yeah.
I mean,
but
Terry,
they've got to make the play-in game that you referenced. They've got to make the winner. There's got to be a big prize. Is that getting into the playoffs?
Yes. The big prize. Yes, my understanding would be the big prize would be getting into the playoffs.
And so you also don't want to incentivize. Let's say Georgia and Texas were 1 and 2 in the SEC.
Right.
Would they be in that, or would they have already qualified? Would they not be? Because you don't want to punish. You don't want to punish Texas, Georgia for having a good season.
No, absolutely not.
And reward Ole Miss maybe playing
South
Carolina, and one of them gets in. You go, why are you rewarding South Carolina, Ole Miss, who wouldn't have qualified, but they get to play each other with the winner move? Man, it's confusing.
Well, and see, here's the thing. And to your point, now look, this may never happen.
Okay.
It is a reality of this is not set in stone, but because it's different and because it's new and because they want to try something with the championship weekend, and now, Terry, by doing this, what are they saying to us? Are they saying, well, we has championship weekend run its course.
Yeah.
And we need to put some more bells and whistles and glitter on it so that we can really get folks excited.
Man, I would hate. And Brent, your history of college football, my history of college football, we were around when conference championship games were born. Roy Kramer.
Yeah, 92. Yes.
The SEC, and then the Big 12 and everybody copied that. Those conference championship games were all mega grand slams. They were such good.
Right.
I would hate to lose something that is such a grand slam. You know what? Back in the old days of March Madness, and we're around March Madness, and I'll use this as an example. Back in the old days, there used to be a consolation game. On Sunday. You had the Final Four on Saturday. The 2 losers were disappointed. They would play Sunday, which was brutal, and then the championship game was, well, we lost the consolation game, and that was a good thing. It wasn't right.
Yes.
I would hate to lose championship weekend because it's such a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but I don't know what to do. I hate not having an answer when I bring up something. I don't have the answer to what
Yeah,
to do
no.
to protect these games. The
Well,
SEC
and look, to your point, it doesn't take long to do the math to know that okay, your championship, you got 2 going there,
Yeah.
and how deep are you going to seed this thing?
Yeah.
And how many games are you going to have? Because I could see the top 2 getting in. You could certainly see what 3 and 7 and 4 and 5, and maybe this is where they're drawing the line here with that as a possibility. But again, that's what we've heard. That's what's in the media, and they and again, Terry, this is this is a revenue stream thing.
Yeah.
And now I will say this though, Terry, I mean, tell me how attractive it would be to have, Alabama, Georgia playing in the championship game, and then Florida's number 3, and they're playing, South Carolina, Missouri, and Tennessee, in Gainesville to get into the playoffs. I will admit to you, that would be pretty attractive, would it not?
It really would. I just sit here and I think, this is college football. Is it this hard? Now, I don't have the answer, which makes me mad, but is it that we're not trying to end the war in Ukraine? We're not trying to split the atom. It's college football, but I understand, man. I don't see a great answer, but the pot of gold is, man, those championship games bring in a lot of money.
Well, they do.
It would be hard to turn your back and just say, okay, we've outgrown those. We know that's basically a round in itself.
Yeah, well, it is.
Of revenue. And then you look at, will college football be able to walk away from conference championship football games and all that money and walk away from each individual town losing spring football?
I agree with that totally. We get that.
That's a lot of money you're saying goodbye to.
Now, let me throw something else at you here. Okay, what if in 2026 the SEC decides to go to 9? Okay. I mean, listen, you would understand this well as anybody I know. If you go to 9, I'm not saying that it is, but Terry, at the end of the season, Lord, that's almost a de facto play-in game, is it not?
It really is. It really is.
So my question is, look, I'm the kind of guy that, you and I are the kind of guys to where, we love it if we played year round. But I will also say, in fairness to these players and coaches, Terry, the reality is, how many games can you play?
Yeah. How many games can you play? And I think number of games, workload is much more of a reason why a lot of schools are going to get rid of spring football than, well, you're going to steal my players. I think steal my players sounds good, but I think they're just sitting there going, man, we can't play 16 and 17 games and ask our players. Brent, how far are we, and it's an unfair question, but you almost feel like at one of these meetings, not just dancing around it, but Petiti and Sankey and the boys from the two big, they need to throw the gauntlet down and say, this is what we're doing.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
We can't invite everybody. Here's who we're inviting.
Right.
And you can go do your own thing, and we can help you. But are we getting close to that? The SEC and the Big Ten just throwing the gauntlet down and saying, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. And look, they have that. I think here's the thing that might keep that from happening is a few months ago, the SEC and the Big Ten said, okay, we have the most teams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
we have the most money. We have more at stake here than anybody else. And we are going to do this our way. And Terry, I'm not mincing words here. We're going to do this our way, and you're going to sign this memorandum of understanding.
Yeah.
And they all did it.
Yes, they did.
So they basically know that's what they've got to do. But to your point, what you're saying is, would they take it a step further and say, okay, boys, you signed this thing. If you renege on it, you're out. And because Terry, here's the thing, you know, and I know they're going to both those big conferences are they're going to expand more.
Sure they are.
And let's just say they've got 20 teams apiece. Terry, at that point, my Lord, they can create their own division and have their own playoffs and keep the money for themselves, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if you have 20 or 20, whatever the number is, 20 apiece, 2 separate divisions of 10 and 10, you know, you win your side division, you get in, a couple other ones get in as at large. You determine your champion, the SEC determines their champion, the winner goes and plays. And
now, yes. Now, again, you're as astute in business and TV as any friend I've got. Tell me if they did that and they sat down at the bargaining table with television, Terry, how much leverage will those two conferences have?
They would have a lot. My big red flag that goes up is, would the government put their big nose in it and go, wait
I don't
a minute.
know.
That concerns me. The government goes, wait a minute. You can't crap on the other guy, the little guys, and because the government could supersede in there and screw the whole thing up, couldn't they?
Or Terry, would somebody file a suit in the Supreme Court or the government say, look, help me on this. Look, this is just the free market. Yeah. In the free market, they can literally do what they want to do, correct?
Yeah, and then the countersuit is, you're a monopoly and you're not.
Yes.
It's not open to everyone.
Yes.
And then the countersuit, and they always can use this, is, well, then if you don't play by our rules, this is the government talking, we're pulling back the federal money, the federal funding. All these schools get paid, they're in the federal funding.
Right.
They get a big check every year. But you're right. I could see dueling Supreme Court cases that could take 30 years.
Oh yeah. But now let me throw this at you real quick. And I know we're getting close on time here. If they agree to do it, if you're the ACC and you're the Big 12 and you're guaranteed 2 teams, Terry, wouldn't you sign a contract for that tomorrow?
Wouldn't you run right now?
Absolutely, you would.
Pick up a pen and sign.
Yes.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I hope. Do you know when the next meeting is? I mean, table it.
They've got a big meeting, and I know they've got their big yearly meeting in April, but they're meeting. They're meeting again in March.
Yeah.
Now here's the other thing about that. And I know how many virtual meetings are there going to be that no one will ever know about.
Boy, I tell you, if you get named as one of the members of the that NCAA football committee for a couple of years, that's got to wear you out, man.
But listen, Terry, wouldn't you rather, look, we're media, but we're also fans. Sure. Wouldn't you, as a fan, wouldn't you rather deal with this than this garbage that we had with just the 4 or the BCS? And people forget this. When Terry and I were growing up, it was the AP poll, and voters were voting on it, and which was one of the biggest tragedies there's ever been at times.
It was horrible. It was horrible. it's hard to look back and remember that that's how a champion was determined. It really is. And,
Listen,
and quite a few years, one team did distinguish itself and the vote didn't matter. But there were plenty of other years where the vote did matter. And, and it was just a random vote.
And Terry, I'll give you one is that blooming BYU team that won the national championship that beat Terry. That you remember they beat what was it? 7-5 Michigan team or something close to that.
Or how about 1969? Richard Nixon's in the locker room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Proclaiming Texas the national champion because they won the big final regular season game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though Penn State was over there going, we're undefeated as well, but the president didn't decide to go to our game. He went to the Texas-Arkansas.
Yes.
How do you think the voters were going to vote after that?
I'll tell you one thing, and in fairness to Penn State, and you remember this, Terry, there were, 2 or 3 undefeated virtually Penn State teams that for all accountability, they were ignored in the final poll.
Yeah, Joe Paterno won maybe 2 titles. I think 2. He won 2 titles. Finally beat a Georgia team and then beat a Miami team. But he had like 4 other undefeated seasons that he didn't get the vote. And one or two of the Penn State teams, the team that got the vote had a loss.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mr. Beaird, enjoy some basketball. It'll be good tonight, SEC basketball. Let's do it again on Friday as we head into the weekend. Man, the next 2 Saturdays, the next 2 weeks in SEC basketball are going to be off the charts. Can Auburn fight everybody off? Can Alabama and Florida make a late charge? Going to be a lot of fun. Thanks, Brent.
And Terry, as we go here, I think it's huge game days in Gainesville.
Big deal Saturday. I think even with Florida's loss last night, I think it's a really big deal for that basketball program. And I would expect Billy Napier gets on that show a little bit on Saturday morning.
Oh, don't you think so? Don't you think so?
Don't you think so? He's Brent Beaird. I'm Terry Norvelle. Let's take a break. Come back on the other side. A lot of stuff to kick around with Dr. Aaron Bates, our Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Sports medicine discussion on the other side. 1 down, 1 to go. It's the Young and Norvelle Show on Action Sports Jacks.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
You know, sometimes on this show, we do it Monday through Friday, a lot of shows, week after week after week, but sometimes you really start looking forward to different segments, such as our Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Sports Medicine segment with Dr. Aaron Bates. Dr. Bates, I got so much to throw at you. I hope you're ready, man. It's loaded up, okay? Number one, as I welcome you, how you doing, my friend? Oh, well, let's get your audio going. Hold on. He always hits that. Here we go. He's going to hit that audio. There you go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Nothing yet, Doc. Nothing yet. Zach, talk to me, Doc.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. You sound good.
Okay.
All right, you ready, man? We got some stuff. I got some stuff for you, Doc. So,
sure.
I had my follow-up doctor's appointment myself this morning, okay? You know, I went about a month ago. Hadn't been to the doctor in 10 years. So I did my baseline and all. They took blood and all. So went back to read everything, Doc. Right. So I'm in the doctor's office today, and the readings came back, Doc. And I don't want to bore everybody, but some of the highlights: extreme high level of testosterone. We knew that, Doc. Right. Right.
Well, I don't know. Maybe some people did.
Doc, extreme high level sexual magnetism off the chart. Okay. Off the chart. But anyway,
right.
I kid a little bit here. I'm not going to use any names. I'm being serious for a moment, but I got a new thing I want to ask you about, and I heard about it this morning. So I'm talking to a doctor, and this doctor has a high school age, like junior high school student daughter. And she has a situation, and she may even be coming through your office, and I won't say any names. I'm just talking in general because we've got a talking point here. She's seeing one of the Southeast Orthopedic Specialist docs, and your name came up literally. I'm just talking, and you know, this young lady was born with, and I think I was told it was called a floating patella. Not a big injury. The patella, the kneecap, just moves. And she's in a brace and all. And the doctor that I was talking to about it this morning, and I want to ask you about it, they said, okay, she's got to have a procedure. And the doc said that you type of people, orthopedic, she called it, the doc I was talking to said, they almost have to put a speed bump in there to prevent the kneecap from floating left and right. It's just a hereditary thing. There was not a traumatic injury, but she called it something. And what does that sound like? The patella, the kneecap, just floats around, and you can't live day to day with your kneecap floating around.
Yeah, well, in general, it just means that the kneecap is unstable or very lax. And there's a couple different reasons why that could happen. So where the kneecap articulates to the end of the femur bone, it's called the patellofemoral joint. Sometimes at the end of the femur bone, that groove is really shallow.
Okay.
And that can lead to all of this floating knee, so to speak, as far as the kneecap wanting to slide out of place or whatnot. Also, if their patella tendon, the tendon that attaches from the end of the kneecap to the shin bone, is really long compared to the size or length of their patella, that can also lead to this patellar instability or floating patella.
And you know, the doctor I was talking to, this was her daughter, high school age daughter, was saying that obviously the doctor I was talking to is not a orthopedic surgeon, doesn't do that, and they're sending her over toward your place. It sounded like they're trying to build that you guys will build something to keep it from moving right and left. What type of substance will you put what do you use to build up as almost like a buffer to keep it from going right and left? You got to put something there to where it bumps into and it doesn't keep going or something.
Well, that's pretty complicated because it depends on what the true problem is, and it could be multifactorial. So one of the issues could be where the patella tendon attaches to the tibia or the shin bone, and if that's out of alignment, that would lead to kneecap dislocations and patella instability.
And is that something? It sounded like it was getting explained to me this morning that this poor young girl was just born with this. It's just a short straw. It was just a
yeah.
It was just a short
Definitely
straw.
born with that.
Yeah.
The thing with the shallow groove, sometimes you can do a procedure that deepens that groove, and I think that's what you're referring to.
Maybe, yeah.
It creates a little bumper so that the kneecap sits in the groove a little bit better, so it doesn't want to slide out.
There you go. Interesting. I just thought it was interesting, and I feel for the young lady, the young girl. She's a junior. She's wearing some kind of leg brace while she's going through these procedures, because it just kind of slides in and out. So obviously her soccer career is over. And
what's her name?
Say that again.
What's her name?
Patrick, this is just a doctor friend of mine that I saw this morning. Her daughter has this floating patella, just born with it. And Dr. Bates, it's killed her soccer career. Obviously, she's about to go through a procedure, and she may be coming through your office. And it'll lay her up for a good year. So obviously, she's wrapping up her junior year. Her career is over. And the mother doctor told me, it's just a freak, something you're born with. I guess it made it sound like.
Yeah. The other thing is sometimes you have to reconstruct that ligament on the inside part of the knee so that it holds the kneecap in place a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Doc, you and I were talking, and Patrick was in on the text as well. Man, what a weird situation with Joel Embiid. He's battled injuries a lot. And, Doc, I sent you some stuff. I think you looked at it. Man, if you trace his timeline about a year ago, he's about to miss a lot of time, it looks like. And, Doc, I hate to be rude here with Joel Embiid, but the timeline sounds like he was just a terrible patient. He would not listen to his medical. He tore his meniscus a year ago, had surgery in February a year ago. He comes back in April. His team gets in the playoffs, so he plays in the playoffs. Then he gets sent straight to the Olympics. You don't have to go to the Olympics. I mean, you can easily get out. He plays in the Olympics. He wraps around this basketball season, and it just doesn't feel right. He's getting more opinions. It looks like he needs to go back to get more surgery. And Embiid has even admitted, he goes, man, I probably needed a lot more recovery time. Holy cow, Doc, that's got to – I mean, it sounds like he brought a lot of this on himself.
Yeah, well, it depends on what the issue was. So I believe we think it's a meniscus issue. Isn't that what you were referring to?
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. So, and those, whether you repair them or whether you resect them, those are two different rehabs and recovery. Obviously, you like to repair it if you can because that helps to preserve your knee joint and protect the articular cartilage. So if he had a repair, some type of repair back in February, he's going to need a lot more time than just 2 months before coming back to playing. So he could have screwed it up if that was the case.
Man, it just and Patrick, you and I were talking on the text. It just seems like
I think we talked to Dr. Bates about this before, and it's and you're gonna say it depends on what but he was saying he wasn't having pain, but just was having a swelling response early in the season. We talked about that. I can't remember all that we said.
I remember that.
But yeah.
And Doc, swelling's pain or not, swelling's not natural, is it? I mean,
swelling is indicative of something going on inside the knee. Some type of inflammatory response to something.
My goodness, that has to be a fly on the wall with the 76ers brass, the 76ers medical team, Embiid, and his agent. My God, it just sounds like he was pig-headed, and he said,
his saving grace. His saving grace right now is the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, so maybe it's not as at the forefront of their minds yet.
But I mean, Doc, you can only do so much, and I don't know what's in his contract. I don't know how deep a contract can go, but I guess at some point it's the actual player's decision to finally do or don't do with regard to play, don't play, get under the knife, and now, man, it just when I read this whole thing the other day, it sounded really deep and complicated, and it really made Embiid sound like, and I guess his comeback would be, I'm just trying to get back on the court. I'm just trying to help everybody, my team and the Olympics. But my God, I would have told the Olympics to go jump in the lake. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't take or heed the recommendations and the advice of your medical personnel, then who can help you?
Yeah. Hey, Doc, we're running out of time.
Hold on. I got
Go
something
ahead,
here off of that. It is a situation that is the complete opposite of what Kawhi Leonard went through with the Spurs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where his personal team was telling him that he needed more time to rest, and the Spurs team didn't agree with that. And at a certain point, I think what the straw was there was when Tony Parker was disparaging about Kawhi's injury.
Yeah.
Obviously, whenever a teammate is going to publicly say something negative about you, that's going to end that. But look, and I bring that up too. Look, Kawhi Leonard, he still has a lot of injury issues, and he took pretty much a whole extra season off. Like his knee, he probably shouldn't have played in the Olympics, or he didn't play. He went to tryouts after one day. And it's like, man, you should go home.
Right.
You're not healthy enough to be out here.
But Doc, that's got to be frustrating from your professional side, the medical side. I mean, at that level, the court of public opinion, if they read Dr. Aaron Bates' name enough tied to Joel Embiid, and Embiid's doing everything opposite what you tell him to do, and he's missing time. You know how fans are. Fans are going to go, what does this Dr. Bates know? Well, hey, man, the patient is not heeding the advice of the professional.
Well, that happens more than you know.
Was there
Patrick,
pressure
did you hear
on
that
him?
answer? That happens more than you know when he left it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do we know, was there external pressure? Or was this kind of like a thing where he's like, no, I just got to do it for the fans. I just got to get.
I don't know.
I don't know that.
I don't know. Doc, last thing.
Yeah.
Boy, it was about this time a week ago. We all saw the scroll run by, and it said Wemby, one of the new faces of the NBA. I mean, the NBA is in a transition. The LeBron guard and the Steph guard. The NBA is about players. They market players more than teams. Other sports do teams more. The NBA is all about players. The guard of LeBron and Steph, and those guys are going out. That new guard is coming in, Anthony Edwards, Wemby. Yeah. Wemby's one of those guys. Man, that scroll ran, Doc, and I know blood clots are not in your wheelhouse as an orthopedic surgeon, but Wemby's out for the year. Blood clot somewhere. You can help me, arm, shoulder. How do you get and blood clots can kill you, right? I mean, talk about what causes. Is that a blunt force trauma? What causes blood clots? And talk about it.
So first of all, the reason that blood clots or deep vein thromboses are dangerous is because part of the clot can flick off and go to your right heart and then to your lung and back the vessel up in your lung and cause heart issues. That's where it can be failure.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
life-threatening.
that's where that
right
can
there.
be fatal.
Yeah.
So how do you get it? Well, this is very rare to have it in the upper extremity. Typically, when we think of DVTs or blood clots, we're talking about lower extremity issues. But to have it in the upper extremity, there's a rare condition. It's called Paget-Schroeder's syndrome or something like that.
Okay.
And it's kind of, for lack of a better explanation, just strenuous over the head, over shoulder activity in a repetitive nature in a younger person, typically a younger male. And
Kinda
what
like
happens
a basketball
is
player, right? Kind of like
exactly that's doing all the shooting, rebounding, dunking, all that stuff. And there's a major vein called the subclavian vein that drains blood from the rest of the extremity back to the heart that can get pinched in between the collarbone and the first rib, and there's some other muscle structures around there too, that with this strenuous activity can then change the dynamics on the inside part of the vein that starts this thing called a coagulation cascade that will start that clot. And again, this thing is very rare. I guess Brandon Ingram had something like that in the past.
Pat was saying that, yeah.
I don't remember when that happened. I feel like I would
me either.
remember.
But Doc, does that happen quickly, or is that something that
it's got to be
is hard to see on a
time.
physical, a random new season physical? Does it happen quick? What happens?
Yeah, you're rarely going to pick that up on a physical exam. I think it happens over time.
Yeah, I think the better question, Terry, is how would they have discovered this? Would Wemby have been complaining of pain in his shoulder because of the clot?
Doc, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's more of a dull ache, and then you really it's more of an observation and looking at both upper extremities, like why you have such swelling in one upper extremity than the other.
Yeah.
And typically, you're not going to look at that as a sports orthopedist when a player comes to you with upper extremity pain or shoulder. Really, it's more of a structural thing. We're looking for inflammation in the rotator cuff, a labral issue, a strain in the rotator cuff, a dislocation issue, a clavicle issue, clavicle fracture, those types of things.
And
this is more of a diagnosis of exclusion.
So, I mean, what was the statistic for how rare this is?
It's like 0.5 to 1 per 100,000.
But, we don't know necessarily Wemby's history. He may have broken his collarbone 3 times. I don't know,
I think it would have said that. I don't think he had a collarbone fracture.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it more NBA, this would have happened a lot. Like we would know this thing a lot more commonly.
Pat, I know last week you were talking about when we talked about Wemby and the clot and all, and you said you were talking about, man, basketball players overhead. That's all we do.
All the time.
That's all we do.
Yeah. Especially the big guys.
And sometimes you can have an extra rib too. You can be born with an extra rib, something called a cervical rib. And that can lead to this like kind of thoracic outlet syndrome type of case.
I thought we gave our rib away.
Do you have to get them removed?
We gave our rib away, didn't we? For God's sake. Hey.
Well, somebody didn't. Somebody must not have.
Hey, I don't think any women are watching.
I don't think Terry shares.
Are they taking more of our ribs, for God's sakes, guys?
Terry don't share, so
That's right.
Doc, last thing with regard to Wemby. He is a young, thin, 7'4" guy. Is that any more susceptibility than an Anthony Edwards, who's a thick 6'4" basketball guy, or is that just a luck of the draw, bad luck of the draw for Wemby?
The one thing you got to think about is, these folks that are over 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
There may be some other abnormalities that they have that could lead to something like this.
Yeah.
Now, I've yet to hear from. Like, I don't know. I don't think like Brandon Ingram wasn't 7 feet tall.
No.
And so again, it's just a rare thing, and it could be multifactorial.
I got one last one here for you, Doc. In regards to that. Dang it, lost my train of thought. What was it? What were you just on?
I got one real quick if you got it, and I want to go back to last week when we talked, Doc. The older I've gotten, I don't do it enough probably, but I like to stretch. It just feels good in the gym. Stretch.
Stretch lab.
Yeah, I was going to ask Doc, and I don't want you to bury any industry or any business. I don't want to put you in a bad spot, but I pass different stretch labs. I've never gone into one, and I don't want to say how safe are they in your opinion, but if you were to go into a stretch lab, do they have to know what the hell they're doing? They have to pass something before they start pulling? And is there a risk of if they're pulling and stretching and my body and they don't know what I'm doing? How safe are stretch labs? I like to stretch, but I've never gone to one.
It's hard for me to speak on that.
Yeah.
First of all, I've never been to one. I've never really talked to somebody that's ran one. I've thought about going actually for myself because I think stretching is good.
I've talked to 2 or 3 people I know that swear by them.
Yeah. But there could be some underlying issues that you have that could be detrimental if you're stretched the wrong way.
That's what
I'm assuming that they're doing a history on you just to kind of rule out those things, particularly cervical spine issues,
that's kind of
shoulder instability issues, things like that.
Yeah. Pat, did you think of your final thought?
Nope.
Oh, Pat. He's been traveling all week, Doc. We'll let him go. Hey,
Doc,
good stuff. I know we hit you with a bunch of stuff, but we appreciate your expertise and your participation, as always, weekly on our show. Thank you, my friend.
You guys have a great night.
You too. That's our buddy, Dr. Aaron Bates, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Remember, if you've got orthopedic issues, you think you do, you need to get somebody to kind of give you an idea if you've got something that needs to be treated.
I got it now.
se-ortho.com. se-ortho.com. What do you got, Pat?
I got it now because I was curious about, you asked the question and Dr. Bates alluded to it of there could be some other abnormalities of people being so tall. Like, is it a guarantee? Not a guarantee, but like Wembanyama, 7'4", is he going to have heart issues? Like, Andre the Giant, like
Marfan
syndrome. Yeah.
Explain Marfan syndrome real quick.
Is there like a cutoff of like, okay?
Yeah, it's just a genetic. It's a genetic disorder where.
Am I good, Doc?
I think if they haven't found anything so far, I think you're good.
Okay.
But yeah, so people that are really tall, they can have the syndrome where you also have some heart abnormalities. And so there's some other issues with that. Within the syndrome. But the heart, that's abnormality is an issue.
Sounds good, Doc. We'll let you go. We hit a bad sell.
Yeah, we have a bad spot there.
Thank you, Doc. We appreciate it. As we go to break, Patrick, I'm okay with that Marfan syndrome. I'm not going to fall under the tall thing. I'm good. I know, hey, I might have a lot of other abnormalities, but I don't have that tall Marfan syndrome thing working. I promise you that.
Yeah, I mean, you got this big old pride abnormality that just exudes itself.
And that'll kill you. That'll kill you quick too.
Oh, I don't know, man. You're looking. You just made it to 60, Terry. Remember?
60 years old, baby.
60 years old.
All right, let's take our final break. I'll come back and wrap things up.
Everyone.
We'll get back into some topics.
Say hi to my dog.
There's dog. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, look at that. That's a good-looking dog right there. Good.
Except when she runs away.
Yeah, that's not good. Don't run away. Don't run away. All right, let's come back and put the landing gear down on a Hump Day edition, a Wednesday edition. Good basketball tonight. We got a couple fun topics we'll get into before we get out of here on the Young and Norvelle Show on Action Sports Jacks.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry. We still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
All right, so what's the best way to start wrapping up a Hump Day Edition show here, the Young and Norvelle show on Action Sports Jacks? We got Patrick Young. Patrick, why don't we start doing some hit and miss topics, and we're going to start with the Poop Series. Have you ever heard of the Poop Series?
Oh my gosh, what's happening?
P-O-O-P. I didn't know anything about it. Zach, you knew about it. I didn't know anything about it till earlier.
Why would Zach know about this?
I don't know. He just told me he knew about it, though. Here's the deal. NBC Philadelphia. Okay? Here's the deal.
Yeah, I know the Poop Series.
I don't know anything about it, but here's what we got, Patrick. The Poop Series is going away. The Poop Series is when the Philadelphia Phillies play the Pittsburgh Pirates in Major League Baseball, and they play every year, obviously. Well, I guess when it's a Phillies home game, NBC Philadelphia broadcast it, right? Does that sound right?
Right.
So, for years, they play every year, right? And if you think about it, the Phillies logo is a big capital P, red, right? Pretty much the P
Correct.
for Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
Phillies. The Pirates logo is basically a gold P.
Big golden P.
So you got a big red P, if Patrick's still with us, and you got a big gold P. And when they play NBC Philadelphia for years, I think they took great pride in this, particularly the first inning. The little score bug up top would have, obviously, P for Philadelphia. If it's the first inning, they haven't scored a run, so there's a P, 0. The Pirates haven't scored a run, so there was a 0. And then the Pirates are represented by another P, so it says poop. Patrick, it says poop on the TV screen.
That's funny. Okay.
So
now I like that now. Yeah, that's great.
I don't understand why does baseball not enjoy fun? Do they not?
So
like
pick it up there,
publicity?
Zach. So they finally, NBC Philadelphia is going to change the graphic, right? It's not going to say poop anymore.
Right? Yeah, that's my whole thing. Is like, do they not enjoy fun? Do they not like?
I don't know.
Do they not like free publicity?
I don't know.
Like, I don't understand. I mean, it feels like that was one of the few times when baseball was talked about nationally in a positive light was when people brought up poop game.
Yeah.
I'm always ready for that. And the good thing is the better the pitchers do and the pitchers duel, the further that the poop game lives. It can go. I mean, it can go deep. It could be a poop no hitter on both sides.
And we move from the poop series, guys, to a very serious topic for a lot of guys here on the first.
Very serious.
For a lot of guys on the first coast. I'm just doing a little bit of reconnaissance here. You know, the Players' Championship is about 2 weeks away.
Correct.
The actual tournament is March 13, 14, 15, 16. That's about 2 weeks away. Guys, I'm looking ahead a little bit at the weather forecast, and it appears, unless things change, those 4 days of the tournament out at the Players, the high is going to be high 60s, very low 70s. And guys, I hate to tell you this, but out there by the ocean, 70 degrees with that wind is cold. So I got a feeling, boys, it may not be a great sundress tournament season.
Is that the worst news that you've heard?
Hey, all I know
is that the worst?
All I know is sundress season around here is always.
Are you planning on going out there, Terry?
I don't think I don't ever plan anymore to go. I may stumble out there, but I don't know if it's going to be sundress weather. You figure 69.
Oh my gosh, is that the only reason you want to go?
No, I don't
sundress weather.
No, but I don't know if it's going to be sundress weather unless this thing warms up a little bit.
It could be, and I mean,
it's way better than when it's raining like a monsoon or when it's so hot.
I guess, but I'm telling you, 70 degrees next to the ocean with the wind blowing, it's going to be cold for those girls. They can't be doing their sundress.
They might be. I mean, you don't know how dedicated they are to the sundress.
Finding a man.
Hey,
yeah.
My mom said you really sound like you're sexy now.
I am.
You sound like an old man.
Sexy old man right here. Hey, guys, I want to get your opinion. Did you hear? This was about 2 days ago, and I don't know if I agree with the NFL. It appears the NFL is really looking into almost outlawing. I'm going to call it the power sneak on offense. They call it the tush push. I'm too grown to say tush push. Have you heard that one of the teams...
Too grown to say tush push, but not too grown to lust after sundresses.
Yeah, okay. There you go. But did you guys hear the NFL is at least taking... one team anonymously turned in a proposal to the NFL and said, man,
it was the Packers.
You got to get rid of this. It's unfair. Why is it unfair? Why don't you just stop it? Why don't you just stop it though? Why is it unfair?
No, I agree.
It's been two argument. It's been stopped
absolutely
plenty of times. It's not 100%.
Yeah,
they're not doing anything that any other team can't train and practice and learn how to do themselves.
And on goal line, how about goal line defense? For years, they've put the biggest, strongest linemen and then linebackers right behind them, but nobody said let's outlaw that. I got a couple things on this. I'm being serious for a moment.
Oh, yeah.
Number one, I don't think they should outlaw that. Number one,
I agree.
Hey, defense, go stop.
You said you do, Zach?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they shouldn't.
Okay, I thought you said you wanted it outlawed.
I'm with you.
How about this? Hey, defense, A, go stop it. B, you had 3 other downs to keep them from getting to within 4th and a yard. Go stop it. And C, here's the main thing. My God, when they line up like that, they're telling the defense what the play is.
Right.
Hey, stop it.
Yeah, it's all. I keep on waiting for the Eagles to do a fake off. I think they did like one little end around one time, but yeah, they normally they line up and go, and you should be able to stop it, but you just can't. I mean, even having Chris Jones having one of the best defensive tackles in the league makes it really tough.
Well, how about over the years?
They were you saw how creative the Chiefs was trying to be.
Yeah, they did. But I mean,
to stop
all the years of goal line stands, defenses would take time. They would run their biggest, heaviest interior linemen, and they'd put their linebackers right in the gaps and try and stop a goal line. Well, stop it, right? I mean, it's coming. You're told the Eagles break the huddle, And what an advantage for defense. Hey, defense, we're going to run a quarterback sneak right here. They're telling you what.
And you know what's funny
run.
too, Terry? The Eagles almost never. I mean, sometimes teams do this. They'll quick snap to get like as soon as they line up. The Eagles really don't. When they run their tush push, they don't snap it quick. They're not trying to. They don't care if they catch you off guard or not.
No.
They just think their guys are good enough to get that 1, 2, 3 yards they need.
I'm with you, man. Go. Hey, I say leave it in there. And a little spin off. One of the teams, was it Green Bay, that said they're proposing this?
Yeah, Green Bay's the team that's scared of the tush
Well, and one other thing they said, well, there's an injury factor. I don't think there's any injury factor.
I don't think there's any.
Nobody's going fast. Nobody's running fast in that play, right? There's no injury factor there.
Yeah, I don't think there's been any major injuries. I'm sure there has been some nicks or whatever. I don't think there's been any major injuries on the tush push.
Another NFL situation they're talking about, and when I saw the headline this morning, I was excited. I think the new kickoff rule is stupid. I think it's dumb. I think it's unneeded. I think it looks dumb. The NFL, supposedly, the competition committee guys, they're looking into the new kickoff rule they just implemented last year.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
They're looking into it, and get this. They want to leave it, which I don't like. They want to kind of move it around a little bit, maybe back up the kicker 5 more yards, because get this. They want more returns in the game.
Yeah.
They want more return. Well, damn, you just legislated the return out of the game.
That definitely sounds a lot like when my dog chases its tail.
Yes, exactly.
Pretty similar.
Yeah, they want more.
How many? I think did 1 or 2 get run back this year? Kick returns?
At least 1, I think. I remember.
I know at least 1.
It was low, but not 0, but real low.
Hey guys, I came up 2 days ago with a phrase. I'm gonna stick with it, and I gave birth to it. I want credit. The Jacksonville Jaguars, their head coach, their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator, their general manager, and their executive director of player personnel. Those are probably the 5 most important positions in the organization.
Yeah, their combined age is lower than Pete Carroll's.
They're all rookies. I call them the rookie 5. Am I the only? Right. I think I'm the only guy concerned with that. Does that concern any? Nobody seems concerned that it. And let me back it up again, Pat and Zach. If I told you, if I said, okay, Jaguar fan, let me pick out one of your rivals, the Titans, just out of the blue. Hey, Jaguar fan, next year the Titans are gonna their 5 best players are all rookies. I think you'd go, man, I'll take my chances. What if I told you, Jaguar fan, the Jaguars' 5 best players this coming year, 2025, are all rookies? I think you'd be concerned like hell.
But yeah.
Why am I the only guy concerned that the Jaguars' 5 decision makers are all rookies?
Those guys aren't on the field. I think that's why. And it's not to discredit what you're saying, Terry.
Yeah.
I think it's so hard to measure game by game. It's really easy to measure the players. It's hard to measure you have to years is when you decide, they're doing it or not doing it.
If they're doing their job. Fair enough, but I still think I'm not saying it's not going to work. It may be cutting edge, the new way to go. But, man, you guys realize no organization, I don't think in sports history, has ever taken their 5 biggest non-player jobs and handed it to 5 rookies. None of them have ever done the job they're doing right now.
Probably not.
Is that a concern? Why am I the only one concerned? I'm concerned about that.
No, I mean, I think there's probably a lot of people that are concerned, but I mean, I like to look at it as, they all kind of, they come from that Sean McVay thinking.
Yeah.
And so I think they're all going to be on the same page. And I think that it's probably better to go out. The situation that I always look at it as the opposite of is what the Raiders are doing with Pete Carroll. And if I'm a fan of either team, I'm more excited with what the Jaguars' approach is with going young and getting these, because you can hit a home run, you could strike out. It's a lot like swinging for the fences. So I think I like the idea of what the Jaguars are doing and going for these guys who were these allegedly very brainy guys.
Yeah.
I mean, he did well enough at Kentucky to trick NFL teams into drafting Will Levis and thinking that he was the first.
I know, right?
Nice.
That's a great accomplishment.
He's a hell of a magician.
Exactly, and he got Baker Mayfield to throw for over 4,000 yards. Baker Mayfield has had a different offensive coordinator every year he's been in the NFL. He by far had his most success in Liam Cohen's system, and so just those two accomplishments on their own are enough to give me some level of optimism. It's easy to be pessimistic with the Jaguars. It's easy to look at them and just assume the worst.
Very easy.
Yeah, sure.
But
sure it is.
I have reasons to believe that they are making a calculated risk that I think could potentially end up being one of the best ones they've ever made.
Okay. Next topic. Level of concern, and mine. I'll describe the topic, but first I'll say my level of concern here is pretty high. The Colts organization, it came out this morning. I think it was this morning, like last night when I put or this morning, within a day. The Colts organization, I guess their GM came out, and he said, he didn't name who the player would be, but he came out and said the Colts are going to bring in another quarterback to provide competition for Anthony Richardson. To me, that's high level of concern. I don't know if Anthony Richardson's mental makeup is strong enough. I think this may wreck him.
Yeah, it feels. So,
I don't know if he's mentally strong enough. He's never had things have been handed to Anthony. I just don't think he's very good at what he does. Level of concern: Richardson having a competition quarterback in camp, as they said.
Well, if you're Anthony Richardson and his team, you'd have huge levels of concern, especially if the rumored quarterback they are looking to bring in is Matthew Stafford, who's recently kind of been on the trading block. And now there's also been rumors of him being seen talking with Mr. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, I heard that. Yeah,
at a ski resort, so he could be trying to go to the Raiders. Who knows? But either way, if you're Anthony Richardson, that would basically be the writing on the wall.
Is he strong enough, Patrick, to fight something like that? I don't know if he's mentally strong enough. Matt Stafford would come in with Super Bowl,
if Matt Stafford came in,
with a great career. I think that might be the final straw to wreck Anthony Richardson.
I don't know. Like, I think even NBA play, like even professional athletes, you understand that there's just some other guys that that are just great, and you'll never be as good as them. Like you're an NBA player, you're good. You're just never going to be as good as them. Like I could say, I want to compare him to Shaq, whoever to Shaq. You can never be on that level. It's because of physical characteristics as well, obviously.
Yeah. You're Zach Rothrock. You know the mental makeup of things have been handed to Anthony Richardson because he's a great athlete.
Oh, man.
I think this potentially could wreck him if they bring in a legitimate second.
He's a really good, kind guy.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if he's if he isn't tough enough mentally to handle not being good at his dream and getting benched.
It definitely is concerned. So like you liken it to the NBA, but the thing about the NBA that's different than playing quarterback in the NFL is when you're the quarterback, you're a different guy. You're held to a different standard than the rest of the team. And Anthony Richardson has kind of already done a thing that was really unprecedented. And I've never seen NFL quarterback tap themselves out of a game.
About that?
Being tired, and so that kind of gives you a window into his mindset and a window into the way that he's approaching things, and that just leads me to I think that he might go the Kenny Pickett route. If they bring in Matthew Stafford, he might just say, "I'm not competing with this guy. This is my team. I'm the first round pick." And then the Colts might just say, "No, you're actually that's it."
And that's kind of the concern for me. I'm just not sure he's strong enough. He's faced adversity enough. Things have been handed to this guy. Now, he's a great athlete, but things have been handed to this guy.
He's probably like a Goldilocks type, where like if he had been drafted to Andy Reid or he'd been drafted to the Ravens with a guy like Harbaugh who really embraced his skill set and really changed everything around him, I think that Anthony Richardson could have worked. But the bed that he got is a little too hard.
Can you
it's
imagine?
Not just right.
Can you imagine
the Colts going to work?
Colt fan guys in Indianapolis, they probably still talk about, my God, he said he was tired and he tapped out. in that situation, don't you or one of your big offensive linemen or somebody in and around that huddle that's on that field, don't you go to him, and obviously he was probably huffing and puffing. I get that. He was out of wind.
Well, Terry,
don't you say, hold on, Pat. Don't you say, Anthony, just snap the ball. It's going to be a running play. Hand it off. Just you can't take a timeout there and then say, I was winded. You just can't do that, can you? At the quarterback position.
I agree with you. And I add this point. It's still so crazy. Him tapping out. The way he addressed it afterwards.
Remember that?
That's what like kind of laughing about it. That probably really pissed. Oh, he was like, yeah, man, I was tired. I was so tired. I had to get out of there for.
Yeah.
And like that probably rubbed the fan base.
And five of your offensive linemen are wrestling with a monster on the other side every snap, but they're not necessarily tapping out. Yeah, and Pat, you're right, man. He came out. I'm assuming his agent may have not have known that because somebody's got to get to him before he goes to that podium post game and say, I had a tweaked ankle, or I hate to be a Pinocchio white lie, but that's a white lie situation, isn't it?
That's a must-lie scenario, yeah.
Isn't that you don't say, they've been playing quarterback football a long time, and gosh, quarterbacks have run offenses, and I know he's a physical running quarterback at times, but man, I never really remember a quarterback tapping out himself without an injury.
I don't think it ever happened. I mean, any time that story got brought up, no one could ever recall
Man,
an
just
example.
think of players that like quarterbacks that they get injured some kind of way and they're trying everything they can to get back out there. Like even Brock Purdy, when he tore his UCL, is still trying to go back out there 3 years ago.
Good point. And here he is.
What's his name? The guy, Jay Cutler. We were questioned. His toughness was getting questioned because of his knee. He's like, he couldn't go out there. And it's like, how do both of these scenarios measure up?
All right, Patrick Young, we got 3 minutes. We're counting down, about to get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow. The Young and Norvelle show live from Sliders Oyster Bar down in Neptune Beach.
I don't want to work on Saturday.
I know you've been complaining about that. But along those lines, Patrick, tonight, does Ole Miss have anything on the road at Auburn? If Ole Miss can knock
I'll
Auburn
just say,
off,
Ole Miss beat Auburn or Alabama in Tuscaloosa, but obviously Auburn beat them there as well. But that's the one piece thing you can kind of hope for those guys.
If Ole Miss was to knock off Auburn tonight, that kind of eliminates the Florida loss last night to Georgia, right? Florida will be right back where
it would help. It would help.
Where if they could beat Alabama,
and then Alabama will be right back in the mix there as well.
Alabama would be right back in the mix. But I talked about it the last couple of days of the big three chasing the regular season conference title in the SEC: Auburn, Alabama, and Florida. Pat, I said the last couple of days, who's going to blink first? And last night, Florida blinked. They need to get that back, but they blinked last night. What about your boy on the call last night, the shooter? He tried to bring those Gators back.
Man, they got to stop putting him on games. The Gators lose. He was there. He did the Missouri game, too.
He did the Missouri game, didn't he?
Yeah.
Come on, shooter. Get back in that studio. Get back in that studio, shooter.
Sure, right?
Man, I'll tell you who I like doing games is John Sundvold. I really like him.
He's great.
And I like Jimmy Dykes.
And you know what's so great?
I like Jimmy Dykes a lot.
He played at Missouri.
He did.
And they put him on Missouri games all the time.
The other night he was doing Missouri.
They can't put your boy Pat on some games in Gainesville.
No.
It's a drive.
But they'll put Richard Hendricks in Gainesville instead of Patrick Young. And I'm sure Richard's a nice fellow.
Next year's going to be different, Terry. Next year's going to be different.
Yeah. I like Sundvold. I think he's good at what he does. I like Jimmy Dykes. I think Jimmy Dykes is good and I know he's ESPN. He's good.
He's got a really good podcast. You should check out Jimmy Dykes. Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you take off Friday for all day Saturday and all day Saturday night, right?
I might have Friday available. It depends on I might have time for at least an hour.
So will you guys? We got 40 seconds, Patrick. On Saturday, you're in studio, SEC Network studio, all day, all night. When will your first hit be? Do you know? Halftime of a noon game, or?
There is no noon game.
No noon
First
game. Okay.
game's at 1.
Okay, so halftime of the noon game. Y'all won't
Oh,
do
no,
a pre.
yeah, 1.
Y'all won't do a pregame hit, will you?
No pregame.
Okay, all right.
Because game day takes over.
That's right.
Takes over.
That's
Game
right.
day's
All right.
going to be in Gainesville. Crazy.
All right, Pat, get some rest. I know you're back on a plane on Friday. Good stuff today. I know you're tired. We'll have you hopefully the rest of the week here and there as SEC basketball is heating up. That'll wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll do it again tomorrow, 4 o'clock. The Young and Norvelle Show on Action Sports Jack.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms. Whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.